How do you feel
in.
about people who are upset the government is slowly like giving them less money?
I mean, I understand. That's a good question, Al. I understand the people that go, you're telling me I got to shut down my business and you're not going to give me any money? Like, let me at least try to make my business compliant. You know, like in New York, in Long Island, Governor Cuomo shut down outdoor events that were socially distanced with masks. What the fuck do you want from us, bro?
Yeah.
It's like we're complying with everything.
Yeah.
And you're still going to shut it down? You got to let these people make a living. You got to let them try. If you give them the rules and they find a way to operate around your rules, let them give it a fucking try.
Yeah.
What about the complaint? Some people say that there are some people that are making more money from the money the government was giving and unemployment.
So be it. No system's going to be perfect. And there are a lot of people making more money, right? And so be it. Then I mean, it is impossible to like carve out the exact amount of money that every single person should get based on how much they've like. You have to just kind of do this blanket thing. Mm-hmm. You have to.
Kind of understand that you don't want to just give too much money away, print too much money, because then inflation could get crazy. I guess I'm not an economist, but I also like. Listen, let's be honest. There was like $1 trillion+ bank bailout 12 years ago.
Yeah,
that's like $4,000 for every human being in America, man, woman, child. So like, we're doing it a little bit differently. Maybe it's costing a little bit more, but we've done this before.
Yeah,
we've printed money to give people before, and now we're just giving it to people.
My concern with the businesses is just like, if you tell them the rules and they find a way to operate around the rules, don't continue to shut them down.
Yeah,
you know, especially when cases are super low. Like just let them fucking try. That's what I don't like. When you just snip their feathers so they can't even fly. Like, let them fucking try. If you say you got to be outside, you say you have to be 6 feet apart, you say you have to have all these screens up, just give us all the rules. Then let me find a way to win with those rules. I'll find a way to win. But every time I try to find a way to win, you shut down again. Now I'm pissed off at the government. Because now it seems like you're not even going to try.
And you cutting the funding.
And you're going to cut funding? You're going to literally throw my life's work away? It's not me, but I imagine it's a restaurant or something like that. You're going to throw my life's work away? Yeah, for something I'm complying with, and then when there's a protest, and don't get me wrong, we support the protest, but when there's a protest, you're like, oh no, people should be able to peacefully protest because you want their votes. Mm-hmm. Like, that is where you have to understand the business owner is upset.
They should be able to protest, and I should be able to conduct businesses as per fitting your rules or whatever, as fit your old rules when the pandemic was crazier.
Yeah, man. That shit is just corny. And I understand you're doing it to like save people, etc. But like, are you really, bro?
That would be their argument.
That would be their argument.
Trying to get reelected.
Yeah,
I think they're just trying to get reelected. So they're like, okay, we got to keep numbers down in every way possible so that I can get reelected. Mm-hmm. And maybe I don't care about those small business owners that are probably going to vote Republican because they appreciate the Republican tax incentives way more than Democratic ones. So I'm already not getting their vote. So fuck their business. I literally think that's what it is. Where the Black Lives Matter protests are like, no, I need them to support me because I'm a liberal governor, I'm a liberal mayor, I'm whatever it is. I need them to support. So whatever they want to do, we'll allow that, and that's totally okay. I would imagine there are way less rules on small businesses in Republican governed states.
Oh, there are.
Is that true?
What do you mean?
In terms of like businesses operating, restaurants having outdoor seating.
Texas opened up so fast. That's why cases spiked in a lot of those states. But there is a happy medium. I thought the way New York handled it for a long time was really good. Now, though, as cases are really low, you can open things up slowly. I don't think you don't need to be Arizona and let everybody in.
That's the thing I'm saying. It's like they closed out Governor's Island when they were doing, not Governor's Comedy Club on Long Island, when they were doing, for Tim Dillon's show, when they were doing outdoor socially distanced seating. We just did that exact same show in New Jersey.
Yeah, that's the one rule I don't understand. But they are slowly opening stuff. Like gyms are supposed to be open next week.
Good.
So it's like they're slowly opening stuff again. It's just maybe there's something they realize that, with these outdoor situations, it's still, if it's tented and people are still too close. Like, I'm sure there's a reason why they just been
of course there's a reason
all
why.
Of a sudden we can't do that.
I just think that reason is manipulated by politics.
And I don't even think he's just trying to get reelected. I think Cuomo got his eyes on the White House in 2024.
Yeah, 100%.
So this is not even, this is like, I'm the hard nose, whatever he's trying to present himself as 2024, these are the things he's putting in place now.
Yeah, and trust me, I'm really not arguing for their side. I can just see their motive behind it, because it's like, hey, if I'm doing this for re-election, I'm also doing this to save lives.
I don't know that, because I feel like there's other things you could have done to save lives.
No, but I mean, like, the strict.
So why don't you think that? Why do you think they're totally cool with all the protests?
Because that would impinge on people's, right to protest or whatever. So it's like that.
You could very easily say comedy show is freedom of expression.
You could also say you have the freedom to make a living, and you're removing their right to make a living.
I understand. Then they say, "Oh, and we're supplementing your income with."
And you're not doing enough.
Yeah,
now you're reducing it.
Yeah. Do you think that like the conservative governors in places like Florida or Texas are also just trying to get reelected by keeping businesses open?
I think they're just as hypocritical.
Everybody panders to their fan base.
So sorry, go.
No, I just imagine that in Florida, a lot of the business owners are probably more happy than they are maybe up here.
100%.
Because they're like, I'm still making money. I'm still open. Like,
I think that Cuomo's like, I'm okay if some black people die or some white people die, or whoever's going to Black Lives Matter protests die, or their grandparents die, just as so the majority of those people at those protests vote for me.
Are happy with me.
And are happy with me. And I think that the governor of Florida is like, I'm okay with some restaurant goers die, or their grandparents die, or some small business owners die, just so that the majority of the people there will vote for me. And I think, honestly, it sounds sociopathic to think of, and it probably is, but that is the type of decision that you have to make as a governor. Every decision you make,
you got to be a little sociopathic.
Yeah.
I also think, this is probably, I haven't thought this through enough, but like, I don't like re-electing officials. I don't think they should have that option. You get 6 years, 8 years, whatever you want, but you get your one term, so you don't spend the whole term just trying to get re-elected. Because that's all they do the entire time in office.
Yeah.
Oh, these guys vote, let me make them happy. These guys vote, let me make them happy.
You could argue, though, that there's like an efficiency there's an efficiency problem with that. Like, and they say that sometimes with like the American workflow, which is like the second you get good at your job, you're promoted.
Yeah.
And now the person that replaces you isn't as good as you were at your
That's
job.
why I would be in favor of extending it from 4 years to 6 or 8 or whatever. Give them 8. I don't care.
It almost like fits the caste system perfectly. It's like, well, yeah, you just stay there and you do that thing and you get amazing at that thing and then it will be the most efficient. And then these people will do this thing and they'll get amazing at that thing and they'll be the most efficient.
Nah, I like the way you tried to make me feel that shit by bringing the caste system, and I wanted to be on board real bad.
Well, I mean, it was the British idea. It was our idea. We thought we'd try it out with you guys, But no, you understand what I'm saying? So like some people might argue, I completely understand, like especially these fucking congressmen that have 2 year what is it called? 2 year terms.
Yeah.
And they spend the entire 2 years just trying to get reelected. It's like you're not going to do any work
the
at
whole
all.
time.
Yeah, exactly. That being said, like there is something to say, okay, you did 4 years, you understand how the system works, you understand government, you've built up these relationships. Maybe you can get more done in your second term. Who knows?
I think the idea is that way you're always kind of trying to prove yourself, and then you can get reelected. But the flaw in that to me is most people don't vote, so those guys just prove themselves to the one who do. But if you just had your one term, I want you to have a vision and see that vision through. Let's see what you got.
I feel you, man. I feel as far as businesses go, it's like, yo, you got to decide what the fuck the rules are. If we can't be inside, fine. But let businesses figure out how to operate within the rules.
Yeah.
And if you keep on removing their ability to function and their ability to operate, they have every right to be absolutely furious with you. Because it seems like an attack on them and their livelihood and their families.
Particularly with live performance, that's such a part of New York. Like, that's a thing people move here for, is to be a jazz musician, a stand-up comic. Like, this is a part of the economy that exists here and really only here, but like, that's a draw for your city. You can't shut that shit down.
I don't understand. There's literally a person with a microphone yelling things into it as people outside watch and support. Did I just describe a protest or a comedy show? It's the same.
Well, like, are they socially distanced? Because if they're not socially distanced, it's a protest.
Then it's a protest. If they're socially distanced, then it's a comedy show. It's actually potentially safer. Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Maybe not as important, but safer.
It isn't as important.
Yeah.
It's comedy. It's fun.
Yeah.
But it is undeniably safer. And if these rules are to keep people safe, not to get people reelected, then you should allow it to happen. Am I being absurd here?
No.
I mean, you just say that, comedy shows aren't essential. Protests are an essential thing.
Yeah.
And so we're just cutting out all the non-essential stuff. Anything not essential, we're going to criticize. Everything essential will sort of.
All right, so then stop serving alcohol. It's not essential.